From the creators of Young Ronaldo, the most watched soccer series ever on YouTube with over 65 million views. Now bringing you a podcast so antiviral, even we might forget to listen to it.
1-900. You'll wish you never called.
1-900.
1-900. Featuring Sister Sharon.
We all have suffered from the incredible drive time it takes for often limited minute playing, and it is infuriating.
Especially in the U.S., there's so much travel. Oftentimes, the amount of travel just does not seem to be worth the amount of training or playing time.
One of the players I work with, he's a 2008 MLS Next kid. Okay, he just traveled 9 hours in a van to the border in Texas. Okay, but it was 9 hours. They stayed overnight.
9 hours each way.
9 hours each way. He came to me and he asked me. He said, "Hey, coach, is this even legal?" And I go, "I don't know. He goes, "I don't think it's even legal." He said, "I think you're supposed to be flying for these distances."
Oh, interesting. It's a kind of child endangerment.
Yeah. But anyway, so 9 hours each way. Luckily, he played a full match, but there were players in that van.
So he played 90 minutes and he traveled 18 hours. We should come up with a ratio, like a pain to play ratio of how much travel and pain we have to endure for whatever limited amount of playing time you have. That should be something that we should all be evaluating. Yeah,
I love that. Instead of pay to play, it's pain to play. It's like how much torture you have to go through in order to get to your match.
Yeah. So let's calculate this out using this formula. So it's 18 hours. In this case, this is really dramatic. So it's 18 hours for 90 minutes. Right? Yeah. So that's 18 hours by 1.5. So 18.5 divided by 1.5. Wow, that is a 12.3 pain to play ratio. Don't you think that overall you shouldn't have to travel in total more than you train or play?
Yeah, right. No, for sure. It should never exceed the amount of possible minutes on the field.
That's for sure. It should never exceed the number of possible minutes.
Right. If you're a youth player and your games are only 60 minutes max, then the total drive time, the pain to play, can't be more than 60.
Yeah. So that means 30 minutes each way.
Yeah, which is reasonable.
Absolutely. So. In other words, 1-to-1. We're advising. We're like physicians. We're like soccer physicians. We're advising a 1-to-1 optimal ratio of pain to play. Right?
Yeah.
Ideal.
The soccer doctors
recommend a serving of 1-to-1 pain to play or less.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a 90-minute training, which I think most trainings are 90 minutes, then you get a 45 minutes each way maximum travel time, which is still, frankly, not ideal.
No, 45 minutes, that's a nightmare to me, but
that's as bad as it should get.
Yeah.
The challenge is that with all of these leagues and the hyper-competitiveness, you now have situations where you're traveling further and further to play. And so I think these ratios are just getting worse.
The question is, if you're in a bad pain to play ratio, should you be looking for alternatives?
Mm-hmm. Complicated story. But obviously, parents are much more willing to travel greater distances to play or train with a better team. That's the whole argument, right? Is we need to do this to be in an environment that's the right environment. I get it. Even if we don't have the exact, if it should be less than 1-to-1 or if it's okay for it to be slightly more than one, that's not really the point. I think the point is that this is a good lens to be looking through. How much time and effort are you expending in order to get X amount of return?
Right. What could you be doing instead of being in the car?
Yeah.
Right? How many reps could you be getting?
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
Right? Totally. Could you train in the garage? Could you find a wall?
Yeah.
Are those minutes better spent out of the car?
Yep. Here's a question for you. Do you include the warm-up as part of the training and playing?
Really, really good question. Because the warm-up, as we know, right, the warm-up could be 30 minutes.
Absolutely. Listen, what do you think the average arrive-by time is? What do you think the new expectation is in terms of when to arrive before a match? What's your experience been?
Before a match or before? I love it. I keep thinking training. Oh my God, we talk about this all the time. I deal with this. Every parent deals with the new arrival time.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's an hour now.
Yes, it is a full hour.
It's incredible. What the hell do you need them there an hour before what are they doing an hour before except just baking in the sun, getting tired.
Right. Or getting cold, depending on what the weather situation is.
You need 30 minutes to get them ready.
I totally agree. Oftentimes, a good warm-up, not just, the perfunctory stuff, but some of the either technical or keep away stuff or finishing. Like that actually is decent. Listen, for a lot of players, like if you're a player that doesn't get a lot of playing time.
Oh yeah, the warm-up's everything.
The warm-up's everything. The warm-up's everything. Totally. Right? But the thing to remember is that if you're going to include the warm-up in your calculation, you also have to, you know where I'm going with this, you have to keep that time, that hour has to go into the travel. Yep.
Totally.
You can't take that away. So
that's
if it's
true.
if it's an hour before, you got to add that to your travel time. That's just the way it is.
You can't count a full hour.
So if you arrive an hour before, you can only take a half hour.
Yeah.
You can only add a half hour. So just the hour arrival alone already puts you at the 2 to 1 right there.
Yeah.
You're 2 to 1.
Yep.
You're already losing. Losing.
I can't believe we didn't think about the arrival. That was a mistake.
Yeah. You know what's happening? This is something important also. How long now, on average, do you have to wait as a parent after the game?
Yeah, it's pretty torturous, but that really is pretty coach specific though on that. I mean,
but I think increasingly. Oh, okay, interesting. My experience has been that increasingly coaches think that there needs to be a pretty lengthy discussion time after the games.
Yeah, it's because
you haven't seen that?
Yeah, no, I have, and that's the way that they feel like they can show some worth, right? Like.
And it's very visible.
Totally. The optics of that are great, right? All the parents are there, right? They see the coach huddled around the kids.
Yes.
Right? And they feel like, okay, well, this is what our $8,000 is going to. This is great.
And when you ask your kid, hey, what'd you guys talk about after the game?
They have totally checked out. They have no
idea.
No.
I don't know.
They want to go home.
So I think we need to add that into the misery.
Do we add in the after game meal? I mean,
that's part of the misery index.
I mean, how often are you just going from the game back home?
No, not if it's far away. Usually there's a team meal. Honestly, we need to do a whole episode on team meal. Honestly,
I hate the team meal.
The team meal has to be its own. That is its own segment.
I refuse to do the team meal. No chance.
I know you do, but most people have to do it. And I think we need to do how to navigate the team meal. I think that's important.
You know what the worst is when.
Oh, I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, when your player has not had a good match and you have to endure the team meal.
Absolutely.
Right? Now you're an angry parent,
full of rage and shame.
Yep, rage and shame. And you're at the Last Supper. You're at a long table, right?
Yeah.
With all
Can we call it rame or shage? That's the term when your kid hasn't played and you have to endure a meal with the team.
Oh God, it's
shage.
Really there's nothing like. Do you think you really want to talk to the dad whose kid scored and your kid just had a stinker? The worst.
Right. No, but that dad always comes up and says, "Hey, Bryson, great effort today."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Not quite like my Miles, who scored a hat trick, but when you came off the bench in the 89th and got injured, I really felt for you. We can do this later, but here's the worst part of the team meal. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, I'm Jim. I'll be taking everybody's order today. First of all, how many different checks? We doing separate checks? The answer is yes. Okay. Yeah. Separate checks. Okay. Great. And then I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead and take your drink orders first. Right? We take your drink orders first.
Yeah.
That's an hour and a half.
Yeah. You got to add that in. Add that into the ratio.
An hour and a half for just the receipt of the drink order. Here's a little bit of a tip for all of you who have to wait on us sports teams.
Yeah.
Okay? Take our full order. If your kid scored a hat trick and you just won the state championship, take the drinks.
But if you're a server, just ask what the result is. Like, when do you think the long arrival started and why? Like, why did it? Because when we were growing up, right, it was 30 minutes was standard for sure.
This is a great question because it flies in the face of the economy that you would expect from the coaches. Like, why would they want to lengthen this out? I have my own theory, but you take a stab if you want.
My first thought is that I just think coaches, for some reason now, are just afraid that the kids don't get there on time.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right? Maybe because the traffic has gotten worse now in the 2025.
Yeah. The coaches rarely get there an hour before.
No,
they expect the kids
to
be there, but they usually get there maybe 45 minutes or 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, and a lot of coaches are kind of pulling double duty, right? They're going from field to field, and sometimes an assistant coach is there, and the coach just bounces in right before the whistle. It also puts you in a really precarious situation if, like, all of a sudden, right, you're not there an hour and you get there 45 before.
Absolutely.
Which you think is still an ample amount of time, right? But now you're worried about, like, oh my God, Like, now is my kid going to suffer because we're 15 minutes late?
The anxiety of getting there late is monumental. And by the way, if you're not a good player, you will absolutely be punished. Yeah, well, I guess in short, what we wanted to do with this is just, create a little bit of consciousness, or add to the consciousness of how much time you're spending to get your players to play soccer, either in training or matches, and that you should be paying attention to that and trying to use your time as wisely as possible. And, we should talk about that in the future. But I think for now, we really just wanted to share this idea of the pain to play ratio.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about pain to play. I can't believe.
Cool. Yeah.
I love this topic. If the topic is like ROI calculation on
yes.
like, is this worth it? Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I think community standards don't apply. Meaning, like, misery loves company. I don't care. If everybody's like, oh, we all drive an hour to make it to this great club and this great coach, or, we're all sacrificing here, that means nothing to me. Your ratio, I think the ratio is a brilliant idea, and I think everybody has to come up with what the right ratio is for them on a personal level. 1-to-1 might be right ratio for a family at a given moment in time, and then things change and it no longer is the right ratio. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's worthwhile to essentially, like, do the math, do the calendar math and the actual math of the total cost of this endeavor, right? The total cost of, let's call it, full compliance with what the club or the community is asking you to do. The showing up an hour early for games, the stay to play tournaments, which we already discussed, are probably a good thing to just opt out of early. The commutes to practice, the cumulative effect of abandoning the idea that you would have family meals at a dinner table during the week, right? Is that something you really want to give up? We are now a family that only eats together at a dinner table on Sundays because of soccer, right? That might be fine for some people. For others, that might be no, we can't do that. We need to eat dinner together once or twice a week. I think what's comforting about it is it can be broken down into math, both in the time you're spending doing it, the things you're not able to do because of it. And then I think, the denominator or the X factor isn't necessarily playing time. Playing time is part of it, but I think you also have to look at development. Is my kid developing? Is my kid happy? Is my kid thriving in other areas of his or her life? I'm in huge support of the ratio, and I'm hugely supporting a holistic and personalized view of the total math. It's kind of like when companies, when you work for a big company and they present you with this package of your total rewards, and they tally up your dental benefits and your HSA account, and they just throw everything in the kitchen sink, and then they put a number on it, and you're like, whoa, that my company really supports me. It's like the inverse of that. And I think it's really useful to do. I think it goes back to the idea of being intentional about why you're doing this and what you hope happens. And I also think it's useful to revisit quarterly, definitely annually, when you're re-upping on the club.
I think that is surprisingly sound and strong holistic advice, actually.
Yeah, that's good.
But do you think people do it? Because I've never done it.
No way.
I've literally never done it, but guess what?
Yeah.
Let's make an app.
Let's do it.
It should be an app that captures your sentiment in real time. So when you're standing there in the bitter cold in the 45 minutes before the game, when the coach isn't even there to warm up the kids, and all the parents are trying to keep their REI foldable chairs stuck into the frozen tundra, you could open the app and be never again.
I think this is such a good idea, and the different emojis that we could put with the ratings. One could be like a noose. One could be like a gun. It could be a noose, a gun to the head. It could be kind of various versions.
It's like those. You see
a samurai, like a samurai sword.
Like an airport
samurai sword
when
to the chest.
you leave.
Those would be the options. Hey, Jimmy, how are you feeling about the game?
I got the samurai.
It was the samurai to the chest, Billy. Yeah. I took a shotgun to the neck. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh my
How
God.
did you get the shotgun to the neck? It wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah,
What
Jimmy,
about-
did you get the pill bottles yesterday? Yeah, the pill bottles yesterday.
I used the pill
Okay,
bottles.
I don't know what you guys are talking about right now.
I had the wrist slice. I used the wrist slice emoji.
God. You guys, what about
I used the carbon monoxide. I used the the tube. I had the tube to the
last Wednesday I was jumping off the bridge. I was the bridge jumper.
I had the bridge. Yeah, I was the bridge jumper yesterday.
I can't even stop this. I don't even know what's
So
happening.
great. These are all the ways that we've already thought about offing ourselves after watching trainings or games.
Why in the world would you want to stop this? This is gold. This is podcast gold. Here's my emoji. My emoji is a chain with a cinder block attached to my ankle. And
I like that.
I'm gonna throw myself off of a bridge
boat
somewhere. Mafia style. Yeah, it's a little complicated. We have to go to Fiverr for that one to get designed.
Oh my God. All
Anyway.
right. I have to go. I think I have to go.
All right, adios.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.
1-900.
Featuring Sister Sharon.